Hello, everyone. Welcome to Melody Clinic. My name is Raphael-Ogbe. Melody Clinic, it's a program where we discuss everything that has to do with the church choir. Everything that has to do with the church choir. Song ministrations, church choir leadership and followership, relationship between church choir leaders and their pastors or ministers in charge of the churches, how to be an effective church choir leaders, and so on and so forth. So we discuss everything that has to do with the choir. Once again, I welcome you. Your comments are welcome. Please share it with anyone around you who is a chorister or a church choir leader or a musician. Share it with song leaders, vocalists. Share it with everyone that has to do with the church choir. Share it with church members, church leaders, and so on and so forth. Please like it. Please, your comments are welcome. Let us know how this program has been of blessing to you and whichever topic you want us to talk about. And as you do so, we trust God that you would help the choir all over the world to get better with the assignment that God has committed into our hands. Once again, I welcome you to this edition. And today we're going to be looking at the part two of effective church choir rehearsal. Like I said earlier on, the choir rehearsal is that period that every member of the choir come together to prepare ahead for the next assignment. It is at the rehearsal that they decide on the choice of songs, where they take in. They also decide on how it is going to be taken, how the song is going to be delivered, and so on and so forth. So today, we want to look at tips that will make the church choir rehearsal effective and productive. We started earlier on by talking about the first one, which happened to be the venue of your rehearsal. If you have not listened to that video, you've not watched it, please check my previous video. You would get every gist about that. Today, we want to look at good time management. Good time management. Remember that rehearsal times are most of the time are limited time. They are limited, except if you're having your rehearsal in the night. Most of the time, maximum 4 hours. And that is very rare. Most of the time, you have rehearsal of 2 hours. Some, they have rehearsal of 1 hour. Especially if your church, if you are not on, the church is not the owner of the property. For example, you are in a rented a rented place where the church shares that building with, or that premise with, some other occupant who comes to take over when the church is not in session. So you have limited time to spend there. Even if the church is on its own property, everybody does not have luxury of time, especially for choir where you have business executives, where you have people who are highly placed. You need to have good time management. If you are a choir leader that does not have respect for people's time, your choristers will not be coming on time for rehearsal. Your chorister, even when they come, they want to take permission and leave earlier than before the end of the rehearsal. So how do you ensure that you manage your rehearsal time very well, such that you would be able to make good and tangible results out of it? You must have a carefully well allotted, planned out time for every detail of your rehearsal. What do I mean? In a nutshell, you have to structure your rehearsal. Structure it. Let there be an order of rehearsal. You can call it program, you can call it whichever way. Let it be structured, let it be planned out. For example, the rehearsal is for 4 p.m. Like I have said before, make sure that your venue of rehearsal is ready at least 15 or 10 minutes before the rehearsal. So as the choristers comes into the venue of the rehearsal, it is not that time they will start sweeping. It is not that time they will start arranging chairs. If the rehearsal is meant for 4 p.m., everybody should know that once they get there by 4, rehearsal starts. So let it be well, carefully planned out, structured. As a matter of fact, I would recommend that you have your order of rehearsal program posted on your church choir WhatsApp before the rehearsal begins. Why do you need to do so? So that everybody will know what is expected of them concerning the rehearsal. For example, the person that is going to take the opening prayer should know ahead that he or she is going to take the opening prayer. If he or she is a responsible person, knowing fully that she's want to kickstart the rehearsal, she won't come late. So you can draft an order of program and post it on the church choir platform. To structure your rehearsal, I would suggest that you start with the devotionals. Create a devotional time and let it be from the beginning of the rehearsal. Remember, one of the things you need to ensure as a choir leader is the spiritual growth of your choir members. And one of the ways to help them grow spiritually is to make sure that you have a strong devotional time during the choir rehearsal. Now, the part A of the choir rehearsal should be the devotional time. And what did you do? You start with an opening prayer. Of course, we know as children of God that whatever we need to do, we need to pray. We need to commit everything into the hands of God. So let there be an opening prayer. Let's assume that you have a rehearsal that is planned for 2 hours, maybe 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So you can have your opening prayer for between 3 minutes to 5 minutes, and let it be assigned to a member of the choir. Let it be assigned to a member. Don't let it be that whoever just come, you just commit things into their hands. In fact, if I know that I have an assignment in the next rehearsal, I will hasten myself to make sure that I get there as early as possible to show that I am a responsible person. And I'm sure that's the way it is for everyone, except where there are issues and there are issues that are not planned for. So let there be an opening prayer and let it be assigned to somebody. And after the opening prayer, you can now have a little session of praise and worship. You say, but we are choristers. Do we need to sing? Yes, we need to sing. In fact, when I was a direct choir leader of a particular church, that period I used to, bring in people who are just joining the choir, new members of the choir, want to know what they can do, want to know how far they've gone and the grace that God has deposited into their lives. During that period, everybody will be there to see what they can do. And to the glory of God, many of them, they put in their best into it. So you can have a little session of between 7 to 10 minutes of praise and worship. And after that, let one of the choristers share the scriptures for another 10 minutes. People say, but we have come for choir rehearsal. Why do we need to do all this? Yes, you need to do it. If your choir is not grounded in the word of God, if you do not encourage people to grow spiritually, there will be issues. There will be issues. Many a times there are some derogatory words that church leaders, church members use on us, the choir. They will say, choir, they are not spiritual. In fact, I've seen good singers whom I would have thought would have done well, would be doing well in the choir department. And they will tell you, no, they want to join Sunday school because choristers are not serious, because choristers are not prayerful, because choristers are not spiritual, such things. So we can encourage our members by creating a strong devotional time during choir rehearsal. So let somebody share the word, and then if there are questions from the topic that has just been treated, yes, encourage them to ask the questions, rub minds together, and then pray together. Pray together. Pray together to round up the devotional time. Now, after the devotions, I would suggest that the next thing is to have some warm-ups, voice warm-ups, exercises. You can consult some professionals if you don't know any of them. You can run the scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. That's the cheapest. You can run the scale. You can, get a pianist to change the keys, to modulate from one keys to another for them and let the voices sing along. That's the cheapest. You can also get some other exercises and let them do it, over and over and over and over again. After that, they could massage, their vocal cords. They could massage. They could, do some, you know, exercises like this, and so on and so forth. And then after all these little exercises, then the choir can now settle down. I do not suggest that when you get to rehearsal, you should be asking, who has songs to teach us? If you have any new song, let us know. No, that doesn't show that you are a very, upwardly mobile leader. You need to have planned it ahead. I would suggest that before the rehearsal, you would have spoken to your choir members. Please, if you have any new song, let us know. Pass it across to the librarian. The choir should have a librarian. We're still going to talk about key, executives that you need, or leaders that you need within the choir to work with you as the music director or the choir mistress or the choir master, whichever way you put it. So you should have a librarian. Where it is a smaller choir, where it's a small choir where you don't have large crowd, somebody can double for the secretary as well as the librarian. So let them submit those songs to the person, and then let them be well written out, typed, sent ahead. Copies should be made. It is not at the rehearsal that people start writing. It shouldn't be. You will waste a lot of time doing that. So you can gather such songs. So between the leader of the choir and the librarian, you would have decided on the song you are doing for the next rehearsal, the new song. Why? You need to consider the technicality of those songs. For example, there are songs that we had attempted in some rehearsals, and 2 hours was just not enough, and we couldn't present them at the next ministration. So you need to consider the technicality. There are songs that you would have rehearsed for maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times with the entire choir. Make sure everybody gets their part before you come to present them. So you need to check out the technicalities of those songs. I have had reasons to, discuss with choir leaders who felt, oh, I have been bringing song, I've been suggesting song, submitting song, my song has never been taken. And some of them, they don't know why. So they are discouraged. They don't want to bring more songs. You need to explain to them the reasons. Some of those songs, there are issues with them, except if they can get if it's a copyright song, somebody else's song who is not a member of the choir, you can get the original of the song. Listen to the songs yourself before the rehearsal. That's why the song should not be brought to you on the day of the rehearsal. So you need to take care of such things and then decide on which of the songs you are learning at the next rehearsal and who is teaching the song. I've seen cases where the person that brought the song does not even know the song, cannot even teach the song. And the person comes to teach the song and you start struggling with it and so on. And so you as the leader, that's why you need to get the song earlier, listen to it, and be sure you can score it, or give it to somebody who can score it within the choir, who will be ready to teach the song. And where you have a large choir, you need to pass the parts to part leaders. The alto part to the leader of the alto part, the soprano part to the leader of the soprano part, who will in turn would have learned the song earlier. And then when they get to the rehearsal, they just teach. And then within 2 hours, you are good to go. You would achieve speed. You will gain ground. But where the song is introduced on the spot and everybody wants to learn their part on the spot and on the spot and so on and so forth, you would waste more time. There is tendency for you to waste more time on it. So ensure that you get the songs earlier on, check the songs, and then if there are technicalities you need to deal with, assign them to people, make sure they have been dealt with before the day of the rehearsal. Come to the rehearsal, come together and put it together, and then, where everybody will learn their part, and then you are good to go. So when a new song is introduced, that does not displace the old song you've had in your archive. That is why I would also suggest that as you learn new song, please go over your old songs. You would need to, rehearse your old songs. Why? There are times that leaders, church leaders, pastors, ministers will bring themes that you could not lay your hands on any new song immediately. So you will need to revert back to your library. to the library of the choir, where you can pick one or two of the old songs and then represent them at such programs. But if such songs have never been rehearsed before, they were taken once or twice and then you forget about them like that, you will need to start afresh again. And the time may not even be there to rehearse for a long period of time before the expected program. So it is as you rehearse the new song, please rehearse your old song together with it. And then after you have done the rehearsal, depending on the presentation, the outcome, what do I mean? Do not insist on taking new songs for the next ministration. If the new songs, you are convinced that the choir cannot take it, explain to them, let everybody agree that this song, we've not done well on it. And then you can pick one of the old songs. But where you feel that everybody agrees and no, we are good to go, God has helped us, we have done it well, effectively, and then everybody agrees on it that this song has been well rehearsed, we are confident, we're able to take it, then you can now take the new song. That is my sincere advice. There have been cases where, because choristers want to take the latest song in town, they want to present a particular song by force, by fire, and they destroy the song, they bastardize the song, such that even if the owner of the song should hear the song, the person may likely sue them. Thank God that it is church where we ascribe everything to spirituality. There are churches where there are no professional pianists, there are no professional drummer, and then you just believe that you can just do one song and the name of the Lord will be glorified. And there is somebody in the congregation who probably, maybe is a chorister from somewhere else, who has done that song before. That person's spirit will not be lifted. So we have to be sure that what we are doing, we do it well, we get it right. Now, I have said that you start with devotions, and in your devotions, you start with the opening prayer, praise and worship, and then you share the word. After the devotion, the next thing I have said is that you should go into warm ups. Warm ups, there are many warm ups, thousands of them. Thousands of them. So you can do any of them. But adventure, you don't know anyone. You can run the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. If your choir continues to do that every now and then, it's good. Don't say, that is old school. At all, at all. At least do one. Start with something. You can also make inquiries, you know, and get other ones that you can do. And then you can, do some exercises. Like I have said, do exercise your vocal cord. The head is the vocal cord most of the time is on the head. So you exercise your neck, the back of your hair, and so on and so forth. Some of these exercises are, on the internet. You can check them out, use them, tell them to roll their head, and so on and so forth. So many of them. That can be done for maybe another 10 minutes, and then you are good to go. Then after that, let's start with the songs. If in your church you take hymns every Sunday or for every service, make sure you get the hymn from your pastor or your church leader. Rehearse the hymn. If it is the choir that selects hymn, there are churches where the pastorate will say, oh, let the choir select hymn, based, they will give them the theme. So you can choose a hymn, rehearse it. If it is the pastorate that select the hymn, let them tell you the hymns they will be taking, and then their choice, and then you rehearse it with the choir. Do not bring a hymn that you have never rehearsed with your choir and ask them to start singing it on Sunday. I've seen cases where some choristers have embarrassed themselves. They did not ask for the hymn. They did not liaise with their church leaders. And on Sunday, one minister will just come to the altar and say, we are taking hymn so and so from our hymn book. And the choir will be looking at each other. They don't know the hymn. The organist or the pianist does not know anything about the hymn. And it is the choir, the minister that will now be doing la, 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 abba. That is not too good. Where you have choir seated, in a church where there are no choristers, fine, it is pardonable. But where there are choristers around, and the choir will still minister, and the pastor is doing la 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 in this time and age, as a choir leader, get the hymn ahead. Even if you do not know it, go to the internet, search for the hymn, download it, play it ahead. Make sure you know it. Be well prepared for the hymns. And for the choir administration, I've said a lot about that one. Rehearse it. Rehearse both old and new song. Harm yourself with nothing less than 2 to 3 songs for every program. In case you need to present one and something happen and the pianist is not available and the drummer, the professional drummer is not available, what else can you do? What else can you do? And the name of the Lord will be glorified. So make sure you harm yourself with 2, 3, 4 songs for every occasion so that the choir is not stranded. Remember, you must deliver. You must deliver. So there is no excuse. So you need to prepare yourself ahead. After the song ministrations, please, I want to advise that there should be a rehearsal for the praise and worship. The praise and worship time is not a time to come and showcase the new song you've just learned. It's not a time to come and showcase. There are cases where the praise leader will pick a song and the members of the choir does not know anything about that song. And yet there was a rehearsal. If the praise leader for the next service is going to use any new song, let the person teach the choir members at the choir rehearsal. Well, you may not need to teach all your songs. Some people will say, oh, the Holy Spirit is going to lead me to take song. Fine, let the Holy Spirit lead you to take song that your choir member will know so that you don't embarrass them. It is not a time to come and sing special number. It is a time to lead the people of God into a session of praising and worshiping God. So, I would suggest to choir leaders, excuse me, I would suggest to choir leaders that you should rehearse even praise and worship. After rehearsing your songs, song ministration, the hymns, and the praise and worship, what else do you have to do? It is time for announcements. You could delegate somebody to do the announcement.